wouldn't try to trick you.
All this stuff. It is so funny.
I may not get chosen, but I just want to say to you guys, this is horrible. I've had to stand out there since 4:15. You know what? Don't go after me like you did your first meeting. Don't start that.
Hey, do you guys
Scratched off 30. Do you have the picture? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like the okay,
I have to go in there.
And you're good for tonight.
Ready? We'll call this evening's meeting to order. I'm muting my phone. Thank you.
All others too, maybe?
All right. Ms. Kelly, roll call.
Bates.
Here.
Illingworth.
Here.
Kimbrell. Here. Patterson. Here. Resterholtz.
Here. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Don Zellman, would you lead us, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
America, we
love you.
Time for our moment of silence. Please stand. From the Colorado Constitution, preamble. We, the people of Colorado, with profound reverence for the supreme ruler of the universe, in order to form a more independent and perfect government, establish justice, ensure tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Thank you. You may be seated. May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
Motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second? Second. Roll call.
Bates.
Aye.
Illingworth.
Aye.
Kimbrell.
Aye.
Patterson.
Aye.
Resterholtz.
Aye. Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have public comment. I have a few notes. Please be aware that any personnel or individual student matters are considered confidential under Colorado law, and it is out of respect of the law and our employees and students that we require those discussions to take place privately in executive session. It is requested that individual comments be limited to 3 minutes or a total of 15 minutes for a total of on any particular topic. The intent of public comment is to give the Board of Education the opportunity to hear your comments. However, the board will make no decision or take no action on public comment during the meeting. And Kelly, how are we doing it? Are we drawing names out of the basket?
I'll be drawing numbers, yes. And
Okay.
then read the name and then they'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, so you're going to draw a number out of the basket, read the name, and how many do we have this evening?
We have a total of 33 people that have signed up.
And for 45 minutes, we'd have time for 15 people. If it all goes.
Okay, well, let's see how it goes.
All right.
Thank you. And first up,
Number 2, Eileen Pnik.
And I will give you a 1-minute warning, just so you're aware. Okay, you're welcome.
Members of the board, I come here tonight because I choose to be an upstander, not a bystander. My name is Eileen Blanton Kleppe, and I wear a lot of hats. I am the mother of a Woodland Park High School junior. I am the mother of 3 Woodland Park School District alumni. I am the wife of retired Colonel Michael Kleppe, who proudly served his country for 24 years. I am a teacher at Woodland Park High School. I am a soccer mom. I am the high school librarian. I am an active volunteer for the Woodland Park High School Booster Association. I'm a yoga instructor. I am a member of the Teachers Union. I am a cheer mom. I am a volunteer for the Rampart Library District. I am an American. One hat that I do not wear is the hat of hate. I am not fostering a hatred of America on our youth, as Superintendent Witt claimed. I do not deserve to be villainized. As the wife of a military man and the partner of a lifelong soldier, I am deeply wounded by the accusation that I am fostering hate for our country. It is your job to represent the teachers, the parents, the volunteers of this school district. How can you do that when you continue to turn a blind eye to the bullying of the teachers of Woodland Park School District? I have a list of the ways that this board has protected its teachers from bullying, from slander, from name calling. Here is my list. It is blank. Thank you.
Here, here.
Number 6, Althea. And Althea, how do you pronounce your last name? Devonish. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening to the board, to the superintendent, and my fellow Americans. I would like to pray first, and then just leave 2 little sayings in the presence of everyone. So Father, in the name of Jesus, I just thank you for the opportunity to speak in this country, to come before you, Father, and to pray on behalf of my community, the city above the clouds, the city that I've learned to love so much. And I can say, Father, without a doubt, I have been received by so many people in this community. And I just thank you, Father, for our board and for the superintendent. I thank you for the teachers and the students. And I just pray unity in the midst of us, oh God. Because, Father, they said where there's unity, so much can be accomplished. They say where there's unity, Father, there's no limit to what we can do as a community. And so, Father, yes, we might have hurts and pains, but, Father, it's time to mend in the name of Jesus. I just ask, oh God, Father, that as a community we'll come together in the love, not in uniformity, but in unity. We don't have to agree on everything, but Father, we can come together for the well-being of our children and for our parents and for our teachers. I am a representative as a student of my teachers, because my teachers have loved me and they've looked out for me. And so, Father, everyone has a role and everyone has a part to play. And I just bless the board. I think that they're doing a great job in the name of Jesus. And Father, I pray that, Father, you touch your hearts, that, Father, they'll open your hearts to hear the complaints and the desires of the children, the parents, and the teachers in the name of Jesus. Father, I just thank you and I praise you, God, Father. This is a community that can grow so strong. There's so much wealth in this community.
1 minute.
There's so much love in this community, Father, because I've experienced your love. And I just give you thanks and praise. And I just speak shalom. And also, Father, I just want to pray for Israel, the people in Israel, that they, oh God, Father, for what they're going through, Father, I pray that your peace will come upon them in the name of Jesus. And for the board, I just want to say this, there's two words, one from Charles R. Swindon. He said, though change is good, it is rarely easy or pleasant. We are more interested in pursuing the comfortable route. We prefer the road more frequently traveled. Everything within us scrambles to stay on tracks already blazed. But God often leads us down unknown paths, filled with narrow passages and surprising turns. And so I encourage you that change is not always easy, but change we must. Change is here to stay. So don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to do what you know in your heart is right to do for our community. And also Franklin D. Roosevelt said, you will never become a skilled sailor in calm seas. God bless you. God bless my fellow community members and my fellow Americans. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
Next is number 28, Cynthia Bear.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to hear what I have to say. I want to also thank the people that have come tonight who were extending an olive branch or an olive leaf. They shared water, chips, and sandwiches, and I feel like that was an attempt to reach their hand across the aisle. So I want to commend them for that and say thank you publicly. Appreciate you. I've been a member of this community since 2012. I first visited Woodland Park in 2000, moved to Colorado Springs area when my husband was stationed at Fort Carson in 2001. I considered Woodland Park my playground. In 2012, my son and I, before kindergarten, decided to come up here and go camping up at Farish. And then we stopped at the awesome playground / makeshift castle, makeshift pirate ship, over here at Gateway Elementary. My son said, "Mom, this is where I want to go to school." And it was like at the same moment we had the same thought, and we just knew this is where we were supposed to be. We knew that this community espoused our conservative views, our values, the things that we hold most dear, and they uphold the Constitution of the United States. I've been visiting and now living in Woodland Park since 2000 and living here full time since 2012. I'm very proud of the people that I've worked with, both at the high school here as well as over at the middle school. And even though they stand on the other side of the aisle, I agree with them that children are what matter first. But 2 years ago, I had to pull my son out of the school district because our values were not being upheld and my son was not being protected. There was not safety for him when he was at school. There was not safety for him when he was getting off the school bus. And in fact, we had to file a police report. It got criminal and there was no protections. And I am very proud of the new school board that we have in place that upholds the rule of law and the protection of children and education for our children, protecting their minds as well from wrong ideology, shall we say. Thank you for the awesome job you've been doing, every single one of you. I appreciate you and I thank you for standing up for my son and other children like him. Have a great day.
Next is number 17, Aaron Hellstrom.
You leave it at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I did have prepared comments, but I forgot them, so I'll do my best, extemporaneous. I rise to support the board. However, the board does need to make some amendments or corrective steps. Teachers have a voice, yes. Parents are the key stakeholder, number one. Parents first. Teachers we need to engage with. Maybe not all the teachers, but department chairs and our representative over the teachers. Whether we agree with what they say or don't say, being heard is vital to our republic. If we are not heard, dissenting voices or popular voices, then we have what we have today. I encourage the board to really think about just taking everybody's voice and hearing them all. This random thing is nuts, in my opinion. Every voice should be heard, and when every voice is heard, guess what? The first couple of meetings might take 6 hours, but when everybody's heard, it won't be like this anymore. Voices need to be heard. Now I want to talk about what I believe to be the roles and responsibilities and duties of a citizen in the United States of America. And what you're doing with the American birthright is the right move. Our students need to know what it means to be an American. I served 22 years in the United States Marine Corps. I fought in 3 wars. I lost friends that don't have. Blood has been shed for the defense of this Constitution, not socialist republic, not a regime of communism that seeks to take the power from the parents, the power from the people, and put it to the state. You, the board, are a line of defense. You gotta have thick skin. You're gonna get it from both sides, but know that we support you. But now, it's time to step up and start taking the dissenting voices. This board is doing good things. I commend you on that. My major concern, I came here to be retired. I didn't come here to be an activist. I didn't come here to be involved. You fight in 3 wars and watch your friends die. You don't want to get involved in these things. You want to be peaceful.
1 minute.
But when I saw the former board in 2021 override my First Amendment rights, that's when I got pissed off. How dare you think that you have a right to tell me and my family what's a matter of conscience? This board has supported my First Amendment rights, and I support you. And it's about time the people get behind what is constitutionally sound and throw away theory. Thank you.
Next is number 21, Kim Morris.
Yeah.
I'm Kim Morris, district parent. This fall, my family exercised its right to school choice and with great sadness and infinite hope transferred our children from Woodland Park to Manitou for 6th and 9th grades. This after attending Woodland Park their entire school careers. As a longtime district parents, my husband and I could no longer allow our children to be used by this board as educational guinea pigs and political pawns. This choice was not easy because we love our WPSD educators and the quality of education received up until the year 2022. That's when this board's true focus to destroy the district and degrade public school teachers and parents became very clear. Your constant campaign against the sadly inconsequential local teachers union has grown nastier over the last 2 years, leading to the disgusting public statement last Monday by your superintendent about, quote, teachers union affiliates bent on fostering a hatred of America and our youth, unquote. You sound petulant, petty, and perverse. Let's be honest, that horse is dead and you are fools. Manitou is great, in case anybody was wondering, welcoming, diverse, and inclusive. Perhaps this board, if somehow kept in office, will rank Gateway to Manitou for an outreach school. After all, these 5 other families I know also made the switch last August directly because of this board. To quote Mick Bates in a September 21st, 23 email, quote, we want to create the narrative, unquote, about the respective chamber forum, the enrollment, the NCAA accreditation, and about anything and everything else. Bates continued, quote, we just need to get ahead of this and go on offense like we discussed, unquote. Meanwhile, my boys are thriving in the non-toxic educational environment that is Manitou. Painfully, some of their friends stayed here and are having the worst start of their school year. Not enough teachers, limited class offerings, and overcrowded classrooms, thanks to you folks. I could go on and on. This leaves us with a big case of survivor's guilt, alongside a renewed motivation to work towards removing you from power on November 7th to restore civility, accountability, and transparency to our school board. In the words of our teachers on October 6th, quote, finally, as teachers and staff in Woodland Park, we feel that we cannot continue to work under the current culture of fear and silence created by the school board. We are concerned that eventually the school district administration will drive everyone away, and the ones who will suffer the most are our students and our community at large. You're well on your way. And further, quote, as teachers, parents, and members of this community, our voices cannot be silenced any longer. We implore you, the members of our beloved community, to call on the current school board to reinstate state-approved social studies standards, to reapply for school funding, and that is allocated towards mental health support in our schools, and to prioritize our children's futures over politics, which is why I'm standing here tonight. Vote Bryant Barkley and not to uphold our teachers' will.
Next, speaker's number 24, Eileen Pnik. Did I pronounce that correctly? All right.
I wanted to come here and tell you that I live here in Woodland Park, but in 2016, I was diagnosed with cancer and I was healed, but a year ago they found a lump, and I'm concerned about my granddaughter, and she loves teachers and she respects teachers, and I just want to tell you that you're doing an amazing job, and if there's anything that I can do to help you, I would be honored.
Thank you.
Next speaker is number 26, John Maynard.
Not a great grandpa, but I am a grandfather.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
I am a grandfather, and I do want to tell you that I'm here to support this board. You stand as gatekeepers in May when the gatekeepers have not done their job. You stand to block immorality and false or incomplete history. You stand against pornographic material, and we appreciate that, those of us who have an eye to the traditional education that America used to stand for. So I encourage every one of you to keep strong. The loudest voices are not necessarily the righteous voices. So take comfort in that, and know that the basic part of this community is in support of what you're doing. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Next number is number 32, Drew Deatti.
Mr. President, who are these candidates who make up the union slate? There appears to be a lack of transparency in who is supporting them and what their agenda is. The union slate wants the people of this district to believe that they are aligned with their values. What would the voters of this district think if one of those candidates changed their voter registration from Democrat to unaffiliated right before announcing their candidacy for the school board? Interesting timing, considering this heavily red district voted 2-1 for Donald Trump in the last election. They are trying to cover for their values that fit a school board in Denver or Boulder, but the people of this district see right through that deception.
Yes, you do.
The union slate wants to be elevated to positions where they are in charge of a $35 million budget. What would the voters of this school district think if one of those candidates had a bankruptcy on their record? This seems like irrelevant information that an investigative reporter from the Courier might want to follow up on. Or perhaps even Antonia Hilton from NBC News. She seemed really concerned about our community when she flew in with her crew from New York City at this past May's school board meeting. The union slate is partnered with the dark money group Better Schools for a Stronger Colorado, who are spending heavily with money from outside the district on their behalf. And this group is a front for another group called Stand for Change, who supports educational equity and racial justice in education. And in another layer of support, this group is funded by...
Can we just be polite and have proper decorum in the room, please?
Love it.
He's got us right to his comments.
Every voice matters.
That's right.
All right, no more interruptions, please. Thank you. Continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. And in another layer of support, this group is funded by the NEA, who was the group that lobbied the FBI to monitor parents' activity at school board meetings and label them terrorists. It is time for the union slate to come clean. Teller County residents need to know, considering the Union State's alignment with their far-left organizations, is if they take power, they will come after your guns. The plans are in... Can I have time back, Mr. President?
Kelly, did you give him?
I did the first time, yes.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
Now you have 5 seconds.
The plans are in place and the infrastructure is in place. They will leverage the Healthy Kids Colorado survey to ask your children things like, does mommy or daddy own the gun? How many? Where and how do they store it? Under the guise of mental health, they will turn children into spies against their parents and store data about gun ownership. What do you think will happen with this data when someone cries that child safety is at risk? These are the stakes. So let's once and for all, publicly, resolutely, and emphatically reject the union, their hand-picked union candidates, in everything they stand for. We will not let them have our kids. Thank you, Mr. President.
The next speaker is number 23, Michelle Studwell.
Oh, Michelle.
Hi. My name's Michelle Studwell. I'm sorry. And I'm the gifted and talented teacher at Columbine. I also teach computer science. I've been in teaching for 31 years, but in this district for 16. I've wanted to attend here and stand up and speak to you many times. Just in case this is my last chance, I added my name to the list tonight. In the past, I stood here addressing previous boards to thank them, but that's not why I'm here today. I feel the need to speak today to share how life has changed in the town of Woodland Park and its schools. I first came to Woodland Park 18 years ago, and I felt like I belonged here. I have a good story about one of the reasons I chose to bring my family all the way up into these mountains from the East Coast. On one of our visits here, I walked into Safeway, and within a space of 2 minutes, at least 3 different people walked up to me and asked, "Hi, how you doing today? Is there anything I can help you with?" Being from the East Coast, I was very confused, and I said, "Are you having a contest?" But it showed me how places like Woodland Park, people take time to help each other, talk to and listen to each other, and even though we come from all sorts of places and walks of life, we became like a family. I felt the same feeling in the schools from day one. Our board, administration, and coworkers worked together for a common goal, helping to teach children to be great people. My own children went through this district and have gone on to be awesome young adults. This is the place I wanted to teach for the rest of my career. But things have become very different over the past 2 years. Over the past 2 years, I've seen our town and our schools being slowly destroyed because we're so divided. Being divided weakens us all. Change comes to every place, but it doesn't need to destroy the good things at its heart. I went back to the town where schools where I felt welcome.
1 minute.
Respected and appreciated. The town where people stopped on dark rainy nights and changed the single mom's tire when she had 2 little kids in the car. Or the local car repairman fixed something on the house and just said, "Come back and bring us your business again next time." I want back the schools where people could speak and feel respected and there wouldn't be repercussions for having a professional opinion. All of that seems to have changed, and the main reason for it is what has happened here in this boardroom and in our schools. We can figure out how not to lose the reasons we all love this town. We can have schools that we all want. There are 5 public schools in this town that deserve attention and respect as much as our 1 charter school. I'm here today to say that we need to work together to help make our town great again. The way it should be. Strong schools are the foundation of a strong community and a strong America. Please vote next month to help our town and our schools get better together. Thank you.
The next is number 3, Lindsay Oriana.
Good evening, Board of Directors and Woodland Park community. My name is Lindsay Oriana. I am a resident of Woodland Park, a parent of 2 high school students, and have been a teacher in the school district for 20 years.
Mr. President, we
Hold on.
have some
Yeah.
noise over here.
You can start over again, just,
Yeah.
everybody, you have everything taken care of?
Yes.
Thank you.
Going off, yes. Okay.
You have your full time, you can start over.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Board of Directors and Woodland Park community. My name is Lindsay Oriana. I'm a resident of Woodland Park, a parent of 2 high school students, and have been a teacher in our school district for 20 years. Let me tell you a little bit about me and my family. My husband, Natividad Oriana, was born in El Salvador during the Civil War. By the time he was the age of our 2 daughters, he had already witnessed and survived atrocities that no human should ever have to experience. He grew up close to what is known as the Red Zone, the most active and dangerous war zone in El Salvador. There are too many of his stories that I cannot share with you tonight because they are too graphic for this particular audience. I can tell you, however, some of his experience. He had to flee his home in the middle of the night with nothing more than the shirt on his back when his small town was bombed. By the age of 10, he was forced to become a drug mule to transport money, weapons for the guerrilla army. If he resisted, he and his entire family would have been murdered. By the age of 12, he was no longer able to attend school because he had to help his family to survive. Those difficult experiences led him to search for a safer place with protected freedoms to raise his own children in the United States. I know how lucky I am to be an American citizen. My husband and I have raised our children to know what it means to grow up in a place where you can say what you think without worrying about your neighbors reporting you to the army. They know why they have protected rights as Americans to bear arms to protect themselves and their country from harm. They know what it means to have the right to practice and choose their own religion. They know what it means to be able to cast a vote in a free country because they have watched their father earn that right.
1 minute.
5 years ago, I watched my husband take his oath of citizenship. It was one of the most moving experiences of my life. I love my husband. I love my country. I love my right to speak freely, my own voice, and my own opinions. Because of my husband's experience, I know what life can look like without these freedoms. It is my responsibility to protect them. These rights must be protected by staying an informed and involved citizen. On Monday afternoon, you sent me an email as a parent that deeply attacked me and my family. The stereotypes you used in this email speak more about what you believe than who I am and the values that are important to me and my family. I am so tired of lies, gaslighting, and the manipulation designed to take away my constitutional rights and mislead the voters of this town. You do not know me. You do not get to tell my story. As a citizen of a free country, I get to do that for myself. Every voice matters, and every vote counts the same. Thank you.
Are you whispering about your email?
Number 4, Erin O'Connell.
I'm sure you guys see it. For 1 minute. All right. Long time no see, y'all. I'm Erin O'Connell. For 2 years, I have stood up in this school district, and I still stand. I want you to know that just because I haven't been as visible, it doesn't mean I haven't been fighting from the shadows against everything you have done to destroy this community. There are things I stand against. I stand against the current Board of Education in Woodland Park. I stand against Ken Witt, Brad Miller, and any of you who are here purely for political, religious, or ideological gain. I stand against the hate and divisiveness you have continued to shower over this community. I stand against all of you up there who are merely pawns, especially you, who are being used to serve personal doctrines at the expense of others. You know you are pawns and are just sadly trying to ride the coattails to some figment of power and financial gain. I stand against being shut out. I stand against being silenced. I stand against using religion as a tool for hate. I stand against your arrogance and your rolled eyes and your insistence that you usually, I'm glad I mentioned it, usually have your cell phones out when you're supposed to be listening to the people and the community that you say you represent. I stand against your continued lies, your fear-mongering, your gaslighting, your lack of accountability. I stand against all of it. There are so many things, though, that I stand with and for. I stand with the teachers and staff of Woodland Park School District.
Yes.
I stand with the students and parents of Woodland Park School District. I stand for your children and for their right to have a voice and to be their authentic selves. I stand for the separation of church and state.
Yes. You're here.
As I have said for 2 years.
Yes, it is.
Do you have a problem?
He should be removed. Yeah. I think she needs time back.
Every time I have done anything like that, you have threatened to remove me, call the police, escort me home.
Banned from school property.
And then he can just say whatever he wants to me? Are you kidding me, Ruster Holtz? Stand up and act like a president.
Have some respect.
God.
Have some respect.
As I have said for 2 years.
Hey.
I have
That's enough.
I have testified, guys.
Do you see what's happening?
Aaron, hold on just a second. Can we please have proper decorum and show respect and politeness?
Here's the thing, though, Ruster Holtz.
I understand.
You told a police officer to escort me home when I said something like that.
Aaron.
To escort me home.
Please continue.
I would love to. Do you have something else to say to me?
Aaron, you're supposed to be speaking to us.
Does he have something else to say to me?
Let's keep going.
Move ahead.
It doesn't matter. It's not his turn to talk. It's yours.
Why is he allowed to talk then over her?
All right, I'm going to continue.
Let's go back to order and where we
I'm
left.
going to continue.
Thank you.
I get it. I yell out at meetings. I get upset, and I actually agree with him, when he said if everyone got a chance to be heard, that there would be a lot less strife in this room and in this community if you would just listen to people. I have said for 2 years, and I have testified against you in court, I stand for accountability and for transparency.
1 minute.
Of which you have none, and I'm going to keep going and I'm going to finish.
Did you give her time back?
That's okay, I'm still going to finish. I stand with every single person you have silenced, fired, threatened, lied to, and made to feel less than. I stand for sharing ideas. I stand for reading books, all books. I stand for learning new outlooks. I stand with the LGBTQ community. I stand for courage. I stand for strength. I stand for speaking my truth and not allowing you to silence me. I stand for not letting you put a time limit on me or a threshold on what I do to advocate for my children. I stand up knowing that no matter what you do to try to tear me down personally, I will keep standing up against you. I also know this current board means nothing to me as its whole, but I'm not here for you. I never have been. I'm here for them, the teachers, the students, the parents, and community here in Woodland Park, and I'm going to keep going. I know that you are ecstatic at the mass exodus that you have caused. It has created the space you need for your dangerous chaos here. Empty classrooms, empty bookshelves, unfulfilled teaching positions. This is your dream, your blank canvas for destroying this district. I know you feel no remorse. I have to keep going.
How much more time?
Mike has been cutting out.
How much more time?
What's with your mic? Okay, fine. I'll sit up here.
No, I had a question. How much more time?
Not much. I know that no matter what happens, you and your rhetoric will not be unopposed. And even if it's not me, there will be people standing up for it to you. It'll be my kids, it'll be their kids, and it will probably be your kids standing up for themselves. I stand with WPSD teachers, students, parents, and I will not give up. Yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, let me share an observation with you. People talk about being thrown out of this room for various reasons. I haven't seen one person acting like an adult that our children would be proud of that was thrown out of here. That we need to have decorum in here and act like adults.
She's a constant disturbance. Get her out of here.
No one is thrown out of here that comes in here and acts like an adult.
Can we please?
I go, you go.
Can we please just be polite? Director Bates, continue, please.
I am done. I'm just sharing the fact that there's not a person that has been asked to leave here that was acting like an adult. You've heard people speak tonight that are strongly against us, but they were adult about it in how they presented it. Why can't everyone consider that? We're not against dissenting views, but we are against the rhetoric and the hell raising that takes place in here sometimes. Thank you.
Ms. Kelly, next.
Number 12, Connie Whitaker.
Can I ask a question on that, please?
No.
Can you have the mic, please?
That's it.
Can you have the mic, please?
I was trying to be respectful.
You were, thank you.
But he doesn't want to hear it?
Ma'am, it's not the place that I wanted to be at this time, but we call it shooting from the hip. It's been interesting. I've lived in Woodland Park for 32 years.
Can you tell me your name? I'm sorry.
Connie Whitaker.
Connie, thank you.
Yep, I've lived here 32 years. Didn't send my kids to Woodland Park School. Wasn't anything particular against the school. We chose to homeschool. Had a great experience. I always made the assumption that our schools were being well taken care of. And I guess I don't share that opinion lately. I find it interesting, some of the remarks being made by people who disagree with the current board vehemently. They act as if somehow things were all hunky-dory and then you guys were doing really bad things. But yet, history doesn't really, what happened doesn't really agree with that. I understand you guys got elected, and before you were even sworn in, we had people trying to figure out how to get you recalled.
Inaccurate.
You guys weren't even being given a chance. Of course, I think a lot of people are upset because you guys were pretty sneaky about it. Totally moral. Totally within the law, but you waited until the last day, that last election, to register and caught some people off guard, and I think some people didn't like that. They had to run an election. They hadn't done something like that in 11 years. They were pretty upset. I've been out talking to people. I had a lady that explained to me how this board has been lying about statistics, and I said, how is that? Tell me about that. And she explained to me that when Merit Academy got brought on board this last year, that shouldn't have been included, those kids should have been included the previous year. And I explained, well,
1 minute.
They weren't in your district, they were in BOCES. She said, no, they went to school up here, they were going to school, they should have been included in your district. And I said, they probably would have been if the previous board had accepted Merit charters, but they turned it down. In spite of their own consultants saying they should take it, they turned it down. Nobody's ever given me a good reason. We all have our ideas. It's just amazing about the history. You guys have done a great job. You've given them raises. You've done a great job with the budget. Don't know why the previous school board couldn't do that. Would have been nice if they had. Yeah. Thank you.
Next is number 20, Stephanie Merl.
Last time I spoke to you, it was spring of 2022.
Can we get a new microphone, please?
I don't need one. I'm pretty loud.
But if you get behind the mic, then they can hear you online, on YouTube.
Can we make it work?
Yes. Yeah, can we?
That'd be fabulous.
Just get closer.
In 2022, after entreating this board to let me have my choice for my child's education, I hoped not to have to speak to you again. Unless it was like the old days when the BOE recognized our students' achievements at meetings or featured our student groups or the choir sang. My name is Stephanie Merl. I'm a mother of a 7th grade student at Woodland Park Middle School. I'm not sure how many here tonight have had the unfortunate experience to be put on evacuation status during one of our wildfires. I'm sure many have, as have I. Many will know what it is like or how it feels. For others, I'm sure you can imagine that it is stressful, scary, distracting.
I'm sorry.
Overwhelming. I'm sorry too. It's monstrous even. You feel out of control. Since this BOE was put in place, my child has essentially been on evacuation status. On the eve of her much anticipated move to the middle school, where Mama used to go, the board signed the MOU with Merit. Fine. Good. Kids gotta go to school. Can the school be ready? Spoiler, it wasn't. Prepare to move, please. Push the 6th, 7th, and 8th into what Merit doesn't require. There's not actually enough room for all these kids. Prepare to move, please. Dump the incoming 6th graders back into the elementary schools. Sorry for the short notice, parents and kids.
1 minute.
Quietly, the BOE adjusts the facilities agreement to allow Merit as much space as they require in the middle school. Which brings us to the present. We have 7th and 8th grade packed in, awaiting further evacuation instructions from this board. All the while our kids, who are observant and smart, they know. Though now there are actually literal signs telling them to stay on their side. They know they are on notice. They feel the stress, the uncertainty, the distraction. Meanwhile, you expect them to achieve and focus on academics. Where will you be sending them next? Like little refugees from a natural disaster, they wait, wondering if they will have a home when the smoke clears. I accept that Merit needs a place to thrive. I just want to know, where do I plan for my child to be? But why is there never a plan?
Time.
Why is there never a concern for our kids and where they will end up? Why do you wait until the very last possible minute to evacuate us? Our kids deserve more than to constantly be on evacuation status, constantly having to make up for the poor planning of this board. Funny, 12 and 13-year-olds making up for your shortcomings. It is time for a change and it is time to vote. Bryant Barkley nods.
Yes!
More speakers.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Next up is number 15, Zarat. How do you pronounce your last name?
Sarah Slaves.
Okay, you're next.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Graves. I am immigrant, legal, married to American soldier who's twice war veteran, Gulf and Iraq. I have 2 kids, graduate both of them from the Woodland Park High School. When I come to this country, I was clueless, barely speak English, but I learned. And I come from, originally from Turkey, a Muslim country. And I grew up in Germany. Germany, what we call it here, multicultural country. You think America's multicultural now? You don't know what this multicultural means. In Germany, we, different countries,
Speaking the mics. Yes,
different
speak into the mic
countries,
so they can hear you.
we come together, we were community. French, Belgium, we have Muslims, we have Afghanistan, from Pakistan, we were law-abiding people. We were friends, take care of each other. But here, I don't see that. There are nothing but hostility, hate, anger, and everything. They're absolutely nothing. We are not united in America. America is falling apart. You say something hateful, and what happening? Our children caught in the middle. You've been pulling children from one side, the other one pulling one side. Why are you not come together. If you want to be multicultural community or just a community, why don't you come together and take care of our children's well-being? Why are you fighting over our children? Children needs to be taught, not indoctrinated. Doesn't matter. We know what the teachers union is, so don't deny it. Mostly, we have great teachers in this school district. Those children, those teachers, doesn't matter your what side of the aisle are. Why don't you just work together and teach our children what they need to learn? Stop being under the thumb of teachers union. We know they're pulling their strings. You have no choice, willingly or unwillingly following their orders, put it that way. Leave this behind. Be a teacher and teach the children what they need to learn. Stop being all this indoctrination. Stop being hate. Stop being... Just don't tell me just my child. It's everybody's child. Those children are our children, not yours only. Don't think your children is the one who deserve everything better than the other children. Please stop. Please, please, please stop. Teach those children. Give them a good school experience. Keep having... I'm so upset right now. It's angry because I'm tired of these children being put in the middle. Leave the children, for the love of God, alone. Be a teacher. Just teach the children what they need to learn. Nothing more, nothing less.
It's time.
Let them grow up a happy child.
It's time.
Last speaker is number 33, Logan Ruth.
I had a speech written out, but I don't know that I'm going to go through much of it. There have been a lot of good points that have been brought up on both sides. It is detrimental to the students' learning to be put in the middle of this conflict of the two sides going at it non-stop, of the name calling from both sides. It's not healthy for the students, it's not healthy for the community, it's not healthy for America. I am beyond disappointed with the fact that your super put out a statement last week attacking the teachers. And I mean, it was attacking the teachers.
Yep.
I can't put to words how much it saddens me to see what is supposed to be a leadership in front of students, showing them how they need to grow up and how they need to act and how they should be moving forward to be leaders in the world. And all you guys do is put out misinformation, manipulate details, and try to shut people's voice down. You say that you want to support the First Amendment. I don't see that happening. You limit the public comment. How is that not?
1 minute.
I had students that lost their lives while I was in high school. I attended 14 funerals during my 4 years of high school. A rural community needs support. It has to have support from its district, from its staff, from its leadership, from its board, and they have to be working together. It cannot be a fight against one another like it has been for the last 2 years. I have had a lot of emotions when I've been up here before. My only emotion now is complete disappointment and fear for what these students have gone through and how it is going to negatively impact the rest of their lives. Because I guarantee you that it will. You have taught them the worst lessons that a board of education could possibly teach students.
Thank you, everyone, for participating this evening. Appreciate it. On to Roman numeral number 5, our consent agenda. Our consent agenda items are typically just routine matters that don't require discussion. Oftentimes, they're personnel issues. So at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve our consent agenda.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Bates.
Aye.
Illingworth.
Aye.
Kimbrell. Aye. Patterson. Aye. Rusterholz.
Aye. Thank you.
See you coffee.
All right. On to discussion information. Hey, we have finance department update.
Amy stepped out. Do you mind if we take these in a different order?
Let's go to enrollment update.
Okay, wonderful. Whoop, not that one. Thank you. Thank you, Lindsay. So I am here tonight to give you an update, a preliminary update on enrollment numbers for our schools. My name's Kim Moore, I'm the chief academic officer. I'm sorry. Columbine currently is sitting at 273 students, Gateway at 207, Summit at 261, Merritt Academy is at 364, Woodland Park Middle School at 245, and the high school at 515. We have a total enrollment of 2,020 students, and you can see the numbers for previous school year enrollments. So last school year, we were at 2122, and we had the year prior to that was at 1832. So these are, the final numbers will be known in the coming weeks as we work through the funded pupil count process. So this is just a tentative number because there is a process that CDE goes through to verify all the numbers in regards to the number of students that we may have that are identified as CLBE and IEP and things like that. So these are tentative numbers. They are not our funded numbers as of yet. So we have had, as you can see, a modest decline in enrollment from the previous school year to this school year. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. I believe I read a press release stating that our middle school is crowded.
We have conversations going on back here, so we can't hear you. Could you please ask them to step outside?
I'm Soda Lynn. Kitty, it's me.
Oh,
Okay, we got it under control?
Yes, sorry about that.
My question is, there's a concern out in the community that our middle school is overcrowded and the classes are over full. Can you elaborate on that?
I can. I spoke with Mr. Whalen this morning. He informed me that we have no classes at the middle school that are over 28 students. The few classes that they do have at 28 students was done purposefully so that the teachers could have a common plan time. There are a few classes that are not core classes. They're the mentor teacher classes, which are similar to homeroom classes that the teachers chose to combine so that they could best utilize their time and their support of the students. So there are no core classes over the size of 28.
Okay, and the enrollment for the middle school is 245. Is that over capacity?
Not when you combine it with merits, that the building is not over capacity.
Anyone else have any questions?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't on the board back at the beginning of this board's having been elected, but there was a feasibility study going on that I think had been put in place by the previous board. They were going to develop a master facility study, and in that study, they projected that for this school year that our student enrollment would be at 1,695 students. So I certainly applaud where we're at with our total enrollment being where it is. I mean, we're 325 students higher than what was projected by some professionals that the school district paid $40,000 to try to see where we were in the future. I like that forward looking, but I'm very encouraged by the numbers that we're at today, based on the professionals' study.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go back to finance.
Okay, so in your binder that you have on the green tab, you see finance timeline.
Is the microphone turned all the way up?
Is it on?
It is on.
It's on and off.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I'm just gonna give you a quick update on our external audit, the financial audit that we're in the process of right now. But I thought I would share the finance timeline to kind of show you where we're at with the audit. The blue tabs that you see are all related to the milestones for the audit. So we're still using Holtein, who's been our auditors for years, and it's the same process as we've had for several years now. So back in June, they came on site for 2 days, excuse me. They came on site for 2 days, and then they were also on site for 2 days, or no, actually 3 days in September. And the result of those audits were that everything was clean, they had findings. So they were looking at our internal controls, compliance, and then our financial. So right now, they will come back to us with our audited financials. So if you look at the chart, the green lines are that right now. And then we will upload those to CDE data pipeline, and then we'll be able to present the audited financials to the board at the December regular meeting. And there is no motion required with that, it's just information only. And then, some of the things that we have coming up after that are the mill levy certification and our revised budget, which we'll be presenting to the board at the January regular meeting for approval. So that will actually be due to the CDE by the end of January. That's all I have.
Are there any questions?
Ms. Ryan?
Yeah.
Can you explain for our public what the mill levy certification is? What does that involve? Because I can read it on here, but it's very small.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on going into many of the things. And we're actually, CDE is providing all the CFOs training on this, because some of the items have changed. So I'm not sure how much more I can explain at this time.
Well, all I was asking was, I don't think we can read the little chart. Are you able to read us in what it says in the gray box about the mill levy
I
certification?
mean, that's basically December 8th is when the county assessor certifies the school district assessed valuation. So there's more work that we have to do with that before we present it. I mean, the ideal date is to present it to the board for approval on the December regular meeting. So.
And then you're saying that the audit is already happening.
Yes, the audit is ongoing.
And we do an audit every year.
Yes.
And it's done with an independent firm that's not employed, it's not employees of the school district.
Correct. It's correct. If you look at the last blue box on the top, we're required by CDE to have an external financial audit published to them by December 31st.
Okay. No, that's good to know, because there have been members of the public who've been suggesting there should be an audit done of the school district's finances, and they'll be relieved to hear that there's one actually happening already, and it happens every year.
Yes, it does, and it's the same process and the same public accounting firm that we've always used.
Thank you.
Mr. Illingworth, I'd like to read that. I think it's a pretty good description, if I may.
Yeah, it's just really small.
Yeah, it's small. A mill levy certification is the county assessor certifies to school district the total addressed valuation and the actual value of taxable property in the district. I don't know if that helps or not. I thought it was a pretty good description.
Well, then, Ken, are you tracking, I mean, since we've been elected, the legislature had imposed, I guess through the Colorado Supreme Court telling the legislature they had to impose, but this mill levy override that we have to go up by a certain percentage every year. My memory is that still has to happen.
I can't get to numeric specifics because I didn't bring any, but the bottom line is the state backfills up to a set mill any taxes that are a shortfall in the mill levies of districts. And there's a timeline and a program for districts to close that gap, so the state doesn't backfill as much.
Yeah, that was something they
And if you'd like, next month, we can bring some detail on that. Or
yeah, we'll have to.
Actually, I started to say in December we will definitely have detail.
Yeah, because we have to sign off on it, and it's just something people should keep in mind. It was implemented like in the summer of 2021, and every district essentially is forced to raise the mill levy, and some of them have to raise it a lot, and some of them only have to raise a little. For us, it was lucky that ours was pretty healthy, so that it only goes up a little bit each year, but it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. But I want people to be aware of that, and that's due to some complicated legislative decision about school financing in the state of Colorado. So.
And then just so you know, this timeline was developed using CDE's critical dates. So all of these items on here are major milestones for mainly CDE's deadlines. So this is, if you can see, the top section is last school year, fiscal year 22-23, and then underneath the dates is the school year that we're in, fiscal year 23-24. So we're always working in both school years in the finance area. We're reporting for last year and then setting up everything and for the year that we're in. So.
Anything else you have to share with us?
Nope.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Can we go up and take a picture of that because we couldn't see it?
Can you put it back up real quick?
Thank you.
I was going to ask if it could be posted on the school website. Could you post that on the school website so that way the public can view it?
There's no reason.
Is that something that's
there's no reason.
timeline? I appreciate that. Thank you.
Don't get too close, you won't be able to see it.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Letter C. policy review. Monitoring superintendent performance, Mr. Witt.
This agenda item is in keeping with something we discussed at the beginning of this year, which is we'll try and keep a rolling review of the board governance policies so you can be reminded of them, have an opportunity to revise them if you wish. If we see any operational issues that we would suggest a change for, we'll try and bring those up, but we're not gonna do them all at once. We'll try and continually do one or two as time permits. So this month, we're bringing the superintendent performance monitoring policy. We don't recommend any changes to it. We're not bringing any recommended changes to it, but it's entirely up to the board if you want to recommend changes to it or if you want to continue with it. This is not an action item, so it's not a vote tonight. It's just for discussion. If you asked for a change, of course, we'll bring it back for an action.
Is there any discussion on the performance? It's the same as it was actually the past year,
It hasn't been changed.
several years.
Yeah, this has been in place even for years.
I don't think we've made any changes to it before, and nothing's happened with three different sets of superintendents. That's made me feel like the policy needs any kind of changes.
Anyone else?
No. Speak into the mics, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want me to sing? Okay, staffing update, Mr. Witt.
Yes, just wanted to give a quick staffing update. We have 2 teaching positions open across the district, a fairly typical scenario in each year for licensed teachers accepting special education. We have a significant number of special education positions open, as is being experienced across the state. And we continue to recruit aggressively to find good teachers to fill those positions. And those minutes of service and that instruction is still, of course, covered. We are contracting a number of support services, and we'll continue to do that as long as we need to continue to meet those needs while we continue to recruit. But there is a significant shortage of special education educators out there, and everywhere I go, they're constantly discussing how can we get more in the pipeline, and we're definitely suffering from it as well.
Are there any questions?
I have a question. Mr. Witt, I mean, I know this is a nationwide problem. What is the solution? I mean, I know we need more special ed people, but I mean, are there any people coming up? I don't know about that pipeline.
I'll be frank without conjecturing. The problem is significant, which means that there are fewer people wanting to go into the field than there's demand for it, which would lead me and others to conclude that it's an extremely difficult job. And I think there's a huge administrative and regulatory burden on that job, which means it's a difficult job to maintain. And so burnout and turnover is fairly high in SPED as well, as is mobility. 2 things have to happen. One, I think we have to make it easier for SPED teachers to do the job without being overburdened. It's my opinion. And number 2, we have to be able to continue to work on compensation and reward for that job, because in fact, I think it's one of the hardest jobs there is. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Difficult time hearing you. You're not speaking into the mic.
How about this?
That's better.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Witt?
Well, I'll just say, Ken, in light of you recognizing that this is a problem that goes beyond any particular salary structure, any particular school district, that it's not just that it's a hard job to do, but just in terms of trying to educate students who have special and severe and affective needs, but also that it's a problem in terms of what you described as regulatory burden. I'll simply ask if, in terms of us looking at policies, if there's any sort of special education policy or you can make any recommendation where we can perhaps ease the burden for the Woodland Park teachers in that area without, of course, jeopardizing their very sacred responsibilities in terms of our students' educational needs and safety. But maybe that's something that we could try and help do. Anything we can to try and attract and retain special education teachers in those obviously very difficult situations.
I very much appreciate that.
Do you think that salaries are a significant part of the difficulty getting teachers for special education?
It's certainly a component. As I said, it's a difficult job, and so I think reward matters. Anytime you have a shortage of anything in a free market, one of the things you adjust is price to satisfy demand. So, of course, it's very relevant. It's not the only element there, but it's certainly up there.
Any other questions or comments? I have a question. Are there any special education teachers here tonight?
My son has special needs and I teach him at home on a fairly regular basis.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Get rid of the grant for the social workers. Social workers and
Thank you.
lead teachers work together.
Thank you.
Nationwide issue. Nationwide issue.
All right. Thank you,
everyone. Is what we need.
All right, next. Next, we go on to our security update. Mr. Aaron Salt.
Thank you, board, for letting me come speak tonight. I wanted to show you these 3 smiling faces we have over here. At least as much of a smile as you're going to get out of them. So these are our security guards. These are the armed security that we had talked about in the district. You can see 2/3 of them here in the room. We have Travis McCarthy over here, and we have Brian over on the other side. Both of these gentlemen, even Mr. Petruna, who's been here for several months now, are well trained. They are all either previous law enforcement or highly trained in the military, and so have very strong backgrounds in protection and defense, and they have done an amazing job working with the building principals to ensure a safe and secure learning environment for all students and for all of our staff. So we're really excited about that. As we go on, we've identified a handful, as we've talked previously, of security concerns, and we are continuing to identify additional opportunities to secure both our perimeters and inside the buildings to make sure that that learning environment is safe in all respects. Yeah. Any questions?
One of the questions that I've heard lately is what kind of special training is there? And I appreciate the military service, the service to our communities that you gentlemen have had in your previous jobs. The special kind of, and without going into any kind of details whatsoever, the special kind of training for security, armed security in a school environment.
So, as you said, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here. What I can tell you is that the qualifications that these gentlemen have passed is a stricter requirement than the post certification, which is what all of your police, sheriff, state troopers are qualified at. So they had a higher qualification rating than what the post rating is. So, but I can't go into much more.
Understood.
Are we allowed to ask what the prior military branch service was? I'm not asking about the MOS, and the prior law enforcement, if they could tell us which department they were with or something like that. Just
Dave, I don't think it's Air Force. I think they're all a bunch of good Marines out there.
So 2/3 of our team are Army, or current/former Army.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
The other third was in law enforcement out of state and has served in a capacity of SRO and armed security. And within the state of Colorado before coming here.
I just want to welcome you, gentlemen. I'm Air Force veteran, so you know that already, Brian. And then my father was a retired police officer. I have a brother who's a police officer in Dallas, so just always interested in those sorts of details. It's nice to meet you, gentlemen.
Hey, we appreciate you guys.
We appreciate the Army because you had enough sense not to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
No, and I also think the public would want to know that, so thank you for sharing that.
They've got paratroopers. I think Tim jumped out of a bunch of airplanes, actually.
Any other comments, questions, or wisecracks? I mean, okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we will move on to our action item. District Accountability Committee and School Accountability Committee. Mr. Witt, sir.
Yes, it's that time each year where we, the board approves the SAC and DAC assignments. The district has spent some time over a 3-week period soliciting on the website applications. We extended it for another week because we were getting contact with people who said, I didn't realize that I needed to do it if I did it last year. So we put out in the Woodland Weekly that we'd give one more week for applications to come in, which we did. And this chart that you have in front of you represents our best recommendation from the both carrying forward. I will mention that we solicited School Accountability Committee lists from the schools, then reconciled it against volunteers from the application process, and then tried to fill holes by looking, where we could balance things out and meet all of the statutory requirements. It was quite the NFL game planning exercise, but I think we got all of the requirements filled out, and a great group of people that have stepped up and volunteered to do much of this work, and we're very grateful for it. So before you have the district recommendation, and of course, at the end of the day, it is yours to approve or change.
Thank you, Mr. Witt. Any discussion?
David, can I go?
Yes, please.
So I just want to make a comment. David, you and I served on the DAC last year, and I think the year before that was yourself and Chris Austin. And I think that the DAC, the District Accountability Committee, I think it's a very important organization. It's actually created by Colorado state law, and it sets out certain requirements in terms of what kind of representation you have on there. For instance, you must have parents, you must have teachers. There are other recommendations that are not necessarily binding, although the law does require that parents be the largest group on the District Accountability Committee. So although the district has flexibility to say, we want to add this number of business owners or something like that, we always have to rebalance. And then the school accountability committees are very similar. And so I want to say that serving with the DAC last year was a great experience. I think that for me, what I'm looking for in the District Accountability Committee is that there is a very good representation of the community. I think that that's most important, to have every voice heard. And we really did get that with the District Accountability Committee last year. I know there was a lot of strongly held viewpoints, and some of the people who served in it are in this room today. And but there was a lot of good work done and a lot of progress made. And so I look forward to that happening again this year as well. And I also want to thank everybody who applied, and I thank the administration for working hard to encourage applications and make sure that we had enough time for people to go in and apply. And from what I saw, we had a lot of people apply. It was pretty good. I think it's definitely more than we got last year, so that's exciting.
It was.
And I've reviewed the recommendations, and I don't want to tinker with it. As I understand, yeah, it's kind of a Jenga house trying to put all the pieces together and make sure that everybody qualifies within the spot and things like that. So it looks like a good, diverse group to me. And as long as those people come in with an open heart, open mind, and a volunteer spirit, I think it's going to be a great experience for everybody involved. So I look forward to voting to approve this.
Any further discussion?
David, I have
Nothing more, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just have a comment to make because last year I was a part of the DAC and just the policy. We've actually expanded the DAC from last year, so there's more parents, there's more voices on it, and it was very diverse last year. You know, we were meeting together, or there was a board meeting within it, and so yeah, I like what I see here. I liked reading everyone that applied. I really appreciate it. It's really important for all the schools to have members of the community be a part of either the SAC and DAC. So if it wasn't this time, please do not hesitate and sign up for next year. Thank you.
Any other comment?
No, I was just gonna comment that I was on the DAC prior to being put on the board, and it was very valuable. And we had a diverse group of opinions there. As Mr. Illingworth stated, with that diversity, I thought we came to some good solutions. So I very much support this and the people that have volunteered to do it.
Are you a student?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to discriminate and say, yes, how can I would like to hear your question. And just because I'm asking him doesn't mean I'm gonna ask anybody else.
I was asking, does the DAC accept student applications?
We do have a student on the District Accountability Committee.
Yes, the DAC does have a student representative, and I think the high school also has a student representative for the school accountability committee.
And the middle school.
And they just go through the regular application process as far as I know.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so middle school, high school, for SACs, and then also for the DAC. For the high school.
Any further discussion? All right, being no more discussion, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the DAC committee members as recommended by the administration.
Motion to approve.
I have a first.
Second.
Roll call.
Bates.
Aye.
Illingworth.
Aye.
Kimbrell.
Aye.
Patterson.
Aye.
Rusterholz.
Aye. Thank you. Next, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the school accountability committee members as recommended by the administration. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Who got the second?
Yes.
I did.
Roll call.
Bates.
Aye.
Illingworth.
Aye.
Kimbrell.
Aye.
Patterson.
Aye.
Rusterholz.
Aye. Thank you. Just out of curiosity, do we have any of the previous DAC or SAC members here? We have one.
Yeah, a couple.
Two. Thank you very much for serving. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Kitten. Thank you. All right, on to.
That's right.
Who's on it?
Is there anyone else?
Yeah, can we hear?
Can we know who's on it?
It'll be published.
Thank you.
I mean, there's a lot of names.
Yeah. Stay and read them afterwards if you want.
Yeah, can you tell us where it'll be published? Can you tell us where it'll be published?
On the website.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, number 8, Board of Education reports. Directors, any comments? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So I just want to commend everyone for coming to homecoming, for the parade, for the bonfire. I talked to a lot of students there. A student came up to me and he said, this is one of the best community events that Woodland Park has to offer. So you guys should all give yourself a round of applause for that. I also talked to some of the band members who were marching up the hill up the street, and they were out of breath. They kept up with it. They were awesome. So please give them a round of applause because they did really well.
Yeah.
They were out of breath. If you were able to talk to any of them afterwards, they were huffing and puffing. So we got to give them some credit for that. And then also attending the football game, my daughter was like, she was ready to go to bed. And I'm like, there's 2 more minutes. We got to see it. And so within the 2 minutes, they were able to score those touchdowns and win. So that was awesome. It was a great game. And I had, just alumni that said they never saw a game like that before. And he graduated in like 73. So it was awesome. So yeah.
Was he huffing and puffing too?
He had his like old leather vest or jacket on, and he was a huffing and puffing. I mean, come on, he was good, but it was a cool night, and it was just a great night to be together. So thank you.
Anyone else?
I'd like to expand on what Cassie said. Those of you that pay attention to sports, last year Manitou invited us there for their homecoming because they thought we'd be easy pickings, and we ended up beating them 34-0. So they wanted blood this year, and we knew it was going to be difficult, and I was proud of the football team that they selected Manitou. But then, with about 3 minutes left, we were down 2 scores, and it was amazing to watch. I was so proud of our team, and what a boost for our school district. It was a good night. So thank you, and I hope you were all there.
Now, Mick, your grandson is on that football team, isn't he?
Did I forget to mention? Yes, my grandson is on that football team, and I didn't have a voice left when the game was over.
Sue, do you have anything?
Yes, I had the honor to go to the Latin Honor Awards for the 22-23 school year. And we're so proud of these students. The class of 2026 had 10 that met the great honors for 3.9 to 4.0.
Wow.
And also the class of 26, the highest honors, which is a 4.1 average. We had 5 students.
Wow. That's awesome.
Class of 2025, honors 3.75 to 3.89. We had 2 students. Also, the class of 2025, the great honors 3.9 to 4.0. We had 9 students.
Wow.
And the highest honors 4.1 plus. We had 6 students. The class of 2024, for honors 3.75 to 3.89, we had 1 student. For the class of 2024, great honors 3.9 to 4.0, we had 10 students.
Wow.
And the highest honors 4.1 plus, we also had 10 students. So So if you see any of these kids, congratulate them. They worked really hard. And the teachers
as well.
Yeah.
Top teachers.
Yep.
Mr. Illingworth.
I just wanted to comment on something I saw in the news a couple days ago that since our last meeting that was really cool, which was that Woodland Park High School teacher Patrick Littrell won the 2023 Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation's World Elk Calling Championship. That's really cool, and what I would ask David and Ken, if any of you might be able to reach out to him and see if you might be able to come to the next school board meeting and maybe demonstrate a little bit.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yes,
a few tips or something. That would be really cool.
It is hunting season.
That is a good idea.
And his son won the youth award. So apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Well, I would like to say something. This isn't my last meeting here as president, but it's getting down to it. So thank you so much. You know, one of the things that I've heard a lot, and it has made me sad, and I hate to kind of shift this, but we'll bring it back around to an upbeat. I've really been not known quite how to respond to so many teachers feeling like they've been bullied and called names and slandered. And that's a really a terrible thing that for people feeling that way. It's really terrible. And not that they feel that way, but that you know what I mean. So I have met with some teachers and talked with them, and I've talked to some principals and just got some ideas. And I really want to hear from teachers, and I can only speak for me, but I know that the board, feels strongly about teachers too. But I just want to say, I would like to meet with teachers. And if you would like to get together, I'll buy coffee. We can meet wherever you want at the school. We can go to the coffee shop, whatever it might be. But I want to hear from you. I'm serving another 2 years on the school board, and I want to make up for deficiencies that I personally have had, and I would really like to hear from you. So my phone number, the best way, don't email me. The best way to get a hold of me is to send me a text, and I would be honored if anyone would like to meet with me. So I want you to know that without you guys, we wouldn't have school.
It's true.
And from the teachers that I've met and talked with, you love your kids. And that's why you do this job, this difficult job. So please, I would be honored. Conversation will stay as confidential as you want it to be. I assume that everything is confidential when I talk to people unless they say otherwise. So I look forward to hearing from teachers. If you're not here, if you know somebody, pass the word on, because I would like to get together with you. So thank you for your service to our kids, our community, and ultimately to our nation. You're doing a good job, and I appreciate it. So thank you for coming tonight. Do we have these reports here?
Yeah, they're in your packet.
Okay, so we're not going to go over them now?
No, they're not discussion items. They're just always in your packet.
All right, just checking. Thank you, Mr. Witt. It's been an honor to do this job for a while. I'll have to come up with some kind of a speech, I suppose, when they kick me out to a different chair over here. Anyway, thank you everyone for coming on this Wednesday night. We appreciate you. May I have a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Bates.
Aye.
Illingworth.
Aye.
Kimbrell.
Aye.
Patterson.
Aye.
Westerholz.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
I was one of 18 people that didn't get to speak, but I wanted to share with you my comments. So there.
Very difficult job.
Thank you for giving me. What is your name? So much. No.
Question?
Yeah.
I like to go. I like to go. Thank you.
What members are up for re-election? Pardon? How many members are up for re-election? Three. Okay, that's, we were curious how that all works. Really